Well, we're probably going to need about 1.5 hours to dissect this field. It's a 93 handicap for fillies and mares. It's race number 7 at 4:30, and they're going to race over 1,200 meters, where obviously draw is a concern. But Graham, goodness gracious me, and you'll see when we do our shortlist slide, horses to follow, I've actually got 2 horses in this race. So that's something new, something different. But I have found 2 horses which we'll touch on in a moment that I think could be worth following and worth including in trifectas and quartets. 93 handicap, you're of the opinion it could be a field race. And wow, but just to kick off, Stellar Act, Vivid Jet, Spring Break, those carbon of horses look to have bright winning chances, but nowhere near as easy as that.
Definitely not. My top choice would be number 4, Georgina Rose, but that being said, I think it is a field race. Earlier when we were previewing one of the other races, from a pick 6 point of view, the last 2 legs are definitely the toughest, races 7 and 8, which is why, from a structure perspective, I'm going to take a few chances earlier on. And if I get through those, if taking those risks pay off, I'm going to be loaded up for races 7 and 8. This is definitely a field race. I simply mentioned that I believe Georgina Rose possibly sets a standard. I think you can draw a line through her last run. That was in a quality field over 1,400 meters. She comes back to a course and distance where she's had 3 starts for 2 wins and a third. The Garth Puller stable continues to hold form. Her previous form prior to her last run at Hollywood Bet Scottsville, when she took on much stronger, was very game, very consistent. I think she sets a standard. From an each way point of view, I think there's some value at 7-1. But I'm not going to go deeper than that. Retail Therapy, Spring Break, you've mentioned them, Vivid Jet, they've all got chances. Flaming Laskin Surprise. Dunya is an interesting KZN debutante. It's a tough race. Stellar Act, possibly the class filly in the race, but she's only had 1 go on the poly track and she drew a blank on that occasion. So for me, it's a field race.
Spring Break, you mentioned that Sean Terry's in town and Luke Ferraris is going to ride this trippy filly for Lammerskral stud, positively drawn. She tries the poly for the first time, but she's slightly raced and she's done so well, 3 wins in multiple places. You know, if she takes to the surface, you wouldn't be shocked if she won because you've got the field, but she's got to have an undeniable chance.
She is the early favourite at 3-1, and this is quite possibly Sean Terry's principal runner for the day. This might be the one that spearheads his attack. I know he's brought other horses and they're all well fancied and he could easily have more than 1 winner and one of the others can win and this one not. She has the ability, but she's pretty much an unknown quantity. She has a bit of class. She's certainly got a classy pedigree, being by Trippy out of Miss October. Sure. So if she won it, I wouldn't be surprised. And often when you take the field, the favourite arrives. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. But I think it's a case of if you want to take a chance and bank her, respect the fact that Sean Terry's brought this very well-performed, well-bred filly into town, that she's going to win. Then you can certainly make her a banker. If you're not going to make her a banker, then you've got to put the field.
Okay, that's race 7. And Graham's quite right, because when you look at it, you go from horses 1 to 11, you can certainly make a case. And it's not difficult to make a case for all 11 runners. Number 5, Glory Days, is one of my horses to follow. Graham will think I'm completely balmy and he probably won't be a bad judge. But if you cast your memory to a couple of race meetings at Hollywood Bet Scottsville, Lizanne Forbes had a horse that came from Port Elizabeth that returned off a long rest and made a winning debut for them. And this horse could fit the same sort of mould here. 236 days since she's last won over a distance where she's done okay. Fitness will have to take it on trust, but on best form in Port Elizabeth could get a blow in here. I'm not suggesting Glory Days is a good thing. I'm suggesting maybe some value for quartets. But that's race 7, a 93 handicap for us, one of the most competitive races on the card, where Graham is suggesting, and I agree with him, to load the field.